Hello everyone, got some surviving gameplay here from Dead by Daylight. We're playing in the wretched shop Auto Haven Wreckers. Auto Haven Wreckers, it's the best survivor running map. Most of the pallets in Auto Haven Wreckers, they're all low barrier, and if the killer doubles back, well, you can keep your eye on that killer and really loop a few extra times. It's the greatest running map for the survivor. And the three greatest maps in this game is Auto Haven Wreckers, Coldwood Farm and the McMillan Estate. The reason why Auto Haven Wreckers is the greatest running map is because most of the pallets are all low barrier, and there used to be more pallets in this map, but they've patched it. They've taken half the pallets out because it really is a nightmare for the killers, this map. But with the McMillan and the Coldwood Farm, well, if stealth's your game, those are great maps also, because you've got the corn in Coldwood Farm, and you've got the woods and the darkness of McMillan. And if the killer does spot you, then, well, there's loads of decent pallets, good pallets, that you can also loop as well. This is a terrible pallet here. Most killers do double back, and sometimes they double back and then double bluff and come straight on again. And once you go, if you try and loop that pallet there, you're really losing sight of the killer. You really can't see the red stain or at the top of the killer's head. You really just don't know where the killer is, and you're really taking a chance. And it's something that I always used to do at the start in this game. Even not that long ago, I used to try and loop those pallets because I've watched videos on YouTube of people looping, and I know how precious the pallets is, and trying to conserve them and not just throw them down and waste them. I used to try and loop those pallets, and I've learnt now that's a pallet there you just throw down. If you're fresh and you haven't taken a hit, just stand by that pallet. That pallet's just a link to get you to another zone. You just stand by that pallet, and when you see the killer coming, if you're fresh, you haven't taken a hit, well, you can try and stun that killer. And if you're injured and you're standing by that pallet, well, take no chances. Don't even care about the stun. Just throw that pallet down and watch the killer break it. When the killer's breaking it, you go to the next zone. That's all that pallet really is. This pallet here to my left, that's a great pallet. The killer cannot double bluff you on those pallets. You keep your eye on the killer, you can loop that pallet a good few times. I'm really not a great runner to be giving tips. All my videos really are for average survivors, people like me there a few months ago that really just couldn't get my head around things. But the hours I've put onto this game, I know I've learned some things. I've watched some YouTube videos, and I just tried it and just couldn't make it work. It only really dawned to me that with my own mistakes, it was identifying the pallets was the thing that I was lacking at the start. Now when I spawn in the trial, when I'm going looking for a gen, well, I'll try and spot a pallet, and I'll try and link it to another pallet, and I'll try and link 2 or 3 pallets. That's enough for me. If I could really loop 2 or 3 pallets and waste maybe a minute or two of the killer's time, well, that's a success for me. And as you're moving through the map, always try and identify pallets. Remember where the grit pallets is, because you know when you get that grit pallet, well, that's your best chance. And we're playing against the huntress in this game. Really slow killer. If the huntress doesn't have play with your food, you really could loop the huntress or Leatherface on these great pallets for a fair bit. I don't like the doctor now when it comes to looping pallets, because he shocks you and that stuns you for like 2-3 seconds. You'll find out when you're playing against the doctor, he shocks you and you're trying to throw a pallet down, it's not working. The doctor's a nightmare. Now I see it's the huntress, and I'm not having records. I'm not a great runner or anything, but I'm feeling more confident. That's why I'm staying on that gen there. And that person was injured, so it looks a bit cocky, but it's really not. It's just, the killer's really slow, and you can really lip a good few times. And it really saved that person too. And the huntress knows that she's really slow, and she's not going to run around that pallet forever. But she doesn't like me touching the gens either, so she's back again. And now she's not doubling back, she's just staying right on me. So I got a good few loops out of that pallet. And I would call that pallet there an intermediate pallet. It's not a terrible pallet like the first one I showed with the jungle gym, where you just don't know where the killer is. You can see the top of the killer's head behind that rock. If you look that rock to the right of that pallet, you could see the killer's head. Or if the killer's smaller, like the hag or something, well, you're going to have to look at the ground to see the red stain. They're really 50-50, those pallets. I don't like looping those pallets for too long. But these pallets here, I'll try and loop these as much as I can. Real nightmare map for the killer, especially the huntress. Real bad map this for the huntress. And my perk builds, sprint burst. I love sprint burst when you really want to get a gen done and you're hanging on. You see the killer coming, you just don't panic. You wait till the killer gets close enough where you think the killer's going to attack, and then just take off with sprint burst. More than enough times you'll always bait the killer into a missed an attack. And I've got urban evasion because, well, I like urban evasion for those real hard maps. It's not good for running, and I'm going to rely on my stealth because that was always my game anyway. I always made it to #1 by being a stealthy player. I really never used to waste killer time on pallets. It's only this last while, really, once I started, when the trial spawned in, I've really tried to spot every pallet in the map. That's my first thing that I would do when I'm looking for a gen, is try and see where the pallets are and remember them. And I'm using Bond. It's really great for co-op gen work. I don't have self-care because that takes too long. See, I can keep my eye on this killer here at all times, and it's really hard for the killer to get those headshots over that barrier. See, she's coming back to try and trick me on the gen again. This killer's not doubling back anymore. Only the hatchet bow really gives me a few extra loops, really. I really wish I hadn't threw that pallet down there. After that video there, I've learned that I've started to learn when I know I'm going to get hit. At that time there, I thought that I could have stunned that killer there and not get hit. But then that always seemed to happen. That I always seemed to stun the killer and take the hit at the same time. And after this video, I've started running dead hard, and now I just don't panic. I let the killer hit me, because I know I've got dead hard, and I'm going to get another couple of loops out of that pallet. I really wasted that pallet, even though I stunned the killer. I'll upload videos of me not panicking in that situation and just taking the hit and then doing a few more loops, and then when I'm going to get the next hit, I've got the dead hard. My goal here is not to take the killer everywhere, and I just want to waste as much time. That's always my goal in this game. Just try and waste as much time as I can, so that we can get these gens done and get out of this map. Every time I play this game, I'm always expecting to die in this game. I'm just really trying to waste time. And if I get out, well, it's a bonus. I'm using small game. I run small game a lot. At the high ranks, nearly every killer has no one escapes death, or they've got Devour Hope or Hex Rune. And small game's great for that. You have no trouble finding totems. Normally I would just take out the totems at the exit gate, and then remember where I see the rest of the totems, so that if no one escapes death does spawn, then I know where to go right away and just take out those totems. They aren't anywhere near a exit gate. You know the killer at the end of the game is going to patrol the exit gate before no one escapes death to get another kill. Try and catch someone opening a gate. And normally I just leave them, but I know most of the totems have been taken out on this map. You see there me scanning the area, there's another totem taken out. I'm going like left, right, that's looking for the audio cue of the small game to tell me where the totems are. We really couldn't get one of these two gens done. These two gens close by. Really vital in this game is to take out one of the gens that's close by another gen. But all survivors in this game, we've all taken out all the fire gens, and the gens we've left now is this one and the one close by to my left, and then the one where that survivor is in the shop. That's the three gens, and the killer is really patrolling them really easily. You see the killer there let me go there. She's valuing the gens rather than chasing me across the map. That's my plan. I'm hoping to take this killer furthest away as possible from that gen, so that the team can get it done. But the killer's not buying that at all. She's going to go back to that gen. I can hear the terror radius, but I really should be on that gen. I know there's no pallet there to save me. I really should be a bit more gaming on that gen, and there she comes again. You just really can't get on these gens at all. I know there's a pallet here, and that's my safe zone. Now this killer's not doubling back, so yeah, I'm not getting as many loops as you can. If a killer doubles backs, Well, you can loop extra times, but if only in a grit palette. If a killer just stays on you like that, if you try and loop that a second time, well, you're taking a hit. And lucky I didn't take the hit anyway. She nearly got me after the first loop. I play huntress. I always run play with your food. Same with Leatherface. Always play with your food. It gives you a 15% speed boost once you fill your play with your food up. It's really makes a killer really fast. I remember chasing a survivor down when I was Leatherface. They were running away from me, they were running straight, and I just 180 turned around and started running backwards, and I beat that survivor a race running backwards, and as they were running towards me, I was sitting looking in their face. I used to do that a lot as a joke. That's just how good play with your food is, but it's really tough perk because you really need the obsession, and once you fill it with the obsession, if there's just a really good running survivor that you really want, well, you really got to be smart then with your play with your food, because even that 5% speed boost, that's enough really. You'll hunt down most runners with that 5% speed boost. But if you've got the 3 stacks, which is 15%, well, you really need to not be careless with your attacks. You really not to be swiping at every pallet. You really gotta force them to throw the pallet down, and then you really gotta save your, because every time you make an attack, well, like, you lose a stack of that play with your food. If you could just wait until you get them in the open where you know you're not going to miss your attack, land your attack, and then you're down to 10% speed boost, well, you just stay on until you get that second attack, and you're so fast they aren't looping any pallets with that 15% speed boost. It's really a underrated perk. I really don't understand why a lot of killers don't use it. I would never play Huntress or Leatherface without it. That killer must have been pissed that when she landed the first hit on that guy that she didn't have no one escapes death. I checked after the game, she had no one escapes death, and we had taken all the totems out. Real tough map for the Huntress. The Huntress really done well, killing 3 people.